45 ACP versus 357 Sig. Our heavy and slow versus our fast and light. So that's something I wanted to test for a while, is to see something that's like really slow and heavy but effective versus really fast and light and effective. And these two are debated quite a bit. You know, a lot of people like to go above 9mm and go with like 40, 45, 357 Sig. But I've never really thought about or seen a comparison directly between similar ammunition with a 45 ACP or 357 Sig. So our 45 is a V crown, Sig Sauer V crown, 230 grain jacketed hollow point. Our 357 Sig is a 125 grain jacketed hollow point. So our rated here is 830 feet per second, 352 foot-pounds. The 357 Sig rated at 1356 feet per second, 510 foot-pounds. But energy isn't necessarily everything, because you have a lot more weight, a lot more momentum, a lot more bullet diameter with 45 ACP. So you don't necessarily need more energy to be as effective. So it will be an interesting test nonetheless. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. Then I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test, where we go through just plain clear ballistics, nothing else. That's our best case scenario. And then we're going to go through 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting pectoral muscle, 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs or sternum, and to more clear ballistics. That'll be more of our real world test scenario. And then I'm going to shoot from some various distances just to kind of see what kind of practical accuracy I can get. So let's get started with this test. All right, between our 357 Sig and our 45 ACP, there's a 526 feet per second difference on the rating. That's significant. However, this bullet is almost twice as heavy. So 45 ACP rated at 830 feet per second. Let's see how close we get to that. .918 above rated. 900. 892. 901. 911. So that's good to see we're a little bit above rated velocity. That's pretty good. 357 Sig rated at 1356 feet per second. Let's see what we got. .1509. 1491. 1506. 1488. 1509. So we are 150 feet per second above rated velocity. We're 600 feet per second above the 45 ACP. I think it is fair to note here that I am using both KKM match barrels in both of these pistols to really try to even things out. So let's hit our ballistics gel block with these and see what we get. All right, first up, we're going to do our best case scenario test. Here's our 45 ACP, our slow, fat, and heavy like me. Let's see what we get here. Just plain clear ballistics. All right, let's try our 357 Sig now. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. The bullet went all the way up there and it sucked all the way back to the front of the ballistics gel. That's weird. Let me hit it one more time. All right, 357 Sig. Let's see how this compares. Let's go take a look. So again, like I was saying, the bullet went all the way into that channel up to about 14 inches, and then it came back through the entire track of that track, and then it stopped back up against here, and here's our nicely expanded, beautiful looking bullet there. And that second shot, we got about the same penetration right there, about that 14-inch mark. So that is interesting to see that, and we got good expansion. With our 357 Sig, we really limited that the penetration just a little bit here because it's moving so fast. What we're looking at here is about 10 inches. So That's got some big expansion. That's probably why it's hitting really hard. It's dumping that energy fast. So let's try it with our MDF now and our denim and see if that makes a difference. All right, our medium density fiberboard with our 45. Let's see how this does. All right, let's try a 357 Sig. 357 Sig, let's see what this does. Let's take a look. So yeah, I had this thing kind of melted to the back of this. We can see where we're impacted. We got about the same size hole with both the 45 and that 357 Sig. That's really interesting to see that kind of damage. And this is more real world here. I mean, this whole thing moved just a little bit here, but what we're looking at here with our 45 ACP, I would consider that really good performance. We're at about 18¼ inches. Not really over penetration in my opinion, just because, you know, clear ballistics is a little less dense than regular ballistics gel. There's a lot of damage in there, but it's kind of one of those angles where it's flipped over, so you can't see it from the side angle as well as I can. But it's really similar to this size here with our 357 Sig. And with our 357 Sig, we have a little bit more damage there, and we went to about 16 inches, which is pretty much perfect. We limited that expansion a little bit with our ribs or sternum simulation. Now with that first shot with clear ballistics, what I think really what happened is, you can see the size of this bullet. I think it did so much damage that the wound path there was opened up, and it was able to come right back out because there's such a large hole there. That is a big bullet. So both of them did pretty well, except for that really interesting thing with the 45 ACP and the lack of penetration with our plain clear ballistics and our 357 Sig. But when we look at what I consider my more real world test that I trust better, both did pretty well. So let me shoot from some distances and see what I get with these. All right, so what I think I want to do is I want to do 25 yards and just kind of see where they're heading, go back to 75, because both of these have advantages when it comes to distance. 357 Sig is going to move really fast, have a flat trajectory, so that can really reach out and touch something. But with our 45 ACP, it's such a heavy bullet that at distance it definitely retains more percentage of its energy than our 357 Sig would. So kind of a trade-off there, but I want to see where we're hitting at 25 yards, 45 ACP. All right, I think that first shot was just me kind of pulling that. I often do that with this Glock. 357 Sig. See where we're hitting with this. All right. A little bit lower than my point of aim. I had that phenomenon in a different video I filmed before where I was hitting really low at distance, so I may have to aim high. Let's see what we get from 75 yards now. All right, 75 yards from the target. Let's see how I can do it with this 45 ACP. Oh, I pulled that last one. Very predictable round though. It just felt really good the way it shot. So now we're gonna try our 357 Sig, and like I'm thinking, I may have to aim a little bit high. So I'll start out aiming about here and see if I get any hits. It's so fast. Can't tell, but I think I hit it. Oh, I pulled that one a little bit left. All right, so I think I was shooting just a little bit high, but not significantly. My first few shots seemed like I was hitting possibly high, and I aimed a little bit lower towards kind of the shoulder area of that target. I had 2 misses. Those were completely on me. You could see how much I was shooting a little bit faster with this than I was with the 45. And that made me miss. So overall, though, what I'm seeing with this is both are performing really, really well. Obviously, our 357 SIG is significantly more powerful. It's going to shoot significantly further and faster. But our 45 ACP was just more predictable. It had very low recoil for what it is. It just kind of felt like I was shooting a 9mm or something compared to that 357 SIG. And it just was very predictable, very shootable. Just overall, you know, I'm not seeing a lot of flyers and stuff like that with the way it feels for me. You know, and that's one thing about these tests is a lot of people like to see it, say like, oh, put it in a vise, put it on, rest your hands. But that's really not what I'm doing when I'm doing these distances. I'm not testing the ammo all by itself. I'm testing kind of how it feels for me, and that changes how I shoot. So if I'm feeling a lot of flinching power, a lot of recoil, a lot of times I will flinch, but when I get around it, it seems accurate and I'm not flinching, you know, it kind of adds into the equation. That's kind of why I test at distance. And for me, I'm seeing that 45 is doing really, really well. Between the two of these, you know, I'm going to say they're pretty much equal. They both did really, really well. You know, I'm not sure if the extra power of the 357 SIG is really necessary unless you're trying to like punch through some hard barriers. You know, if you're going through like a car door, windshield, stuff like that, obviously our 357 SIG is going to do it better. But for straight self-defense, I'm not really sure if there's really a winner here. They both did really well. So that's good news. And you know, you always like to see when something does really well, and they both do well. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.